Okay, it's working. Good still morning, everyone. I'm Tomasz Słoniewski. I represent IDC. IDC is a market research company. We focus on the markets of IT and telecommunications. And today I'll speak to you about IoT security. There are two parts in my presentation. In first part, I'll give you a little bit of stats and information. And the second one is movies. So please don't sleep through the first because you might oversleep to the movies, which are very nice. Of course, as an analyst company, we need to have some kind of definitions in place. And obviously, we also came up with the IoT definition, that IoT is a network of networks of the uniquely identifiable endpoints or things that communicate without human interaction. That is the important part, is without human interaction, because, well, for example, a smartwatch is not really 100% Internet of Things for us because we believe it's human operated. But when you have your kind of health monitor or something that monitors your running performance, that is Internet of Things. But it's not really that important, because probably most of you have heard Mr. Butrima's presentation earlier today. Anyone who didn't listen to the presentation in the keynote session? No. So that's one person. Everything that is smart in today's world is Internet of Things, in fact. Smart city, smart metering, smart grid, all the devices that are smart. And they're communicating with themselves. This is a huge ecosystem already, and it will be growing in the upcoming years. Is everything so smart? Well, not everything. So, for example, everyone heard about the Barbie doll? Anyone? I'm sure everyone heard about her. So the newest type of Barbie doll is actually an Internet of Things, because it is connected to the internet through Wi-Fi. So whenever your daughter says, "I like your hair," then the information is transmitted to the data center and then decrypted, because the computer knows what the person said, and then transmitted back, and the Barbie doll answers, "I like your hair too." The thing is that it can be easily hacked. There are videos on YouTube that you can watch that, you know, people are hacking them and then make Barbie said, well, not too good things, right? Let's just put it like this. So you see, there are some dangers related to IoT security, and that's something that I'll be talking about today. Well, first of all, we would have to define how big the IoT security or lack of IT security threat is. It is a big market already. You probably can see the worldwide announcements of various analyst companies that worldwide it's a market about 800 billion already, and in a couple of years it's going to be bigger than trillion. Why is it? Because it covers not only the IT parts like analytics, like servers, like connectivity or networking, but it also covers all the additional vertically specific things. So in Central and Eastern Europe, Middle East and Africa, it's also already quite a big market. It is expected to reach $14 billion in the entire region for 2015, and it's supposed to grow quite quickly, 22% year on year from 2014. Then on average, till 2018, it will be growing still 20%, and it is forecasted to reach $24 billion in 2018. These are huge numbers, and we expect that this will be much more dynamic than the traditional IT market or even IT security market. We are currently making a lot of research. If you go to idc.com webpage, you'll find I don't know, hundreds of reports about IoT, about IoT security as well. So we are also conducting surveys, asking people what they are currently doing. Also, we're doing it in SEMA. So we asked people what are the current investments, which vertical sectors are the most common. So up to date, the most common ones are security systems. So the first one. Physical security is something that is very common in this part of the world, especially in countries like South Africa, also in other areas, because, well, those were generally at the very first beginning, not to secure countries. So this market has developed very early, and because of the fact that there wasn't too much of developed connectivity, the communication networks were not very good. Those systems quite often are pretty advanced. I know an example of a Polish company that is really popular in various countries of the world. The biggest business is in South Africa, and they are 100% Internet of Things company. They have special devices that help guards that guard all those fenced communities to feel safe and to behave accordingly to their employers' orders, right? So, for example, this device is connected through the GSM network and GPS network. So anytime the guard gets attacked and the device is rapidly changing its position, HQ is notified. Anytime the guard wants to go to sleep and doesn't want to go somewhere, the device can be awakened by the headquarters, and he can actually be called by the headquarters. Anytime he's tampering with the device so that he doesn't have to go around the fence and stick it to the sensors, it is notified. So those systems, those security systems are pretty advanced right now, and they are 100% IoT. The second most popular payment system, of course, all the POS systems and all the banking-related devices right now. There are more RFIDs that are coming on, so you can use the chips in virtually every credit card. Fleet management, that's also becoming very popular, especially Central and Eastern European countries are big about transportation vertical is growing very quickly. We have one of the largest fleets of trucks, and apparently, when you have the monitoring in the cars, in the trucks, then it makes your company much more reliable and much more efficient. It is very crucial because there were a couple of accidents when the drivers were driving too long and so on. Also, the companies found out that whenever they have sensors that measure how much fuel they're using, what is the style of driving and so on, then the equipment it's not that quickly used. So right now those systems are pretty advanced. They can measure virtually everything that's happening in the car or in the truck. Asset tracking, digital signage, this is the retail. Digital signage is retail. Asset tracking is also transportation, but also manufacturing and warehousing, which is also quite common in our region. Then we also asked what are the plans, right? So how actively these organizations will be pursuing the IoT M2M projects in the upcoming 1 to 3 years. And we see that finance is the one that is looking to invest the most in IoT, which is interesting. Business services, well, what is business services? Mostly this is the IT companies, right? Why? Because IT companies have a lot of knowledge, have a lot of engineers, and they want to jump on the IoT bandwagon because they feel like this is an opportunity to grow. So whenever you are an IT company, IT security company, it is possible that in the upcoming future you will be moving towards IoT as well. Of course, transport, retail, wholesale, as I mentioned, in retail we have not only digital signage, but we also have a lot of new technologies like beacons, which help people track the behavior of customers in the stores and, for example, propose them something at the very end when they land at the desk, at the cashier counter. What is interesting is manufacturing it's not planning too much on investments. One of the answers we had for that is manufacturing still thinks that they are secure and that they don't have to invest in IoT and also not invest in IoT security. They have their own production lines and they believe everything's okay, but as we have seen on this presentation of Mr. Butrimas, they're really not. Now, of course, IoT is a very interesting topic also for hackers. Why? Some of that was already explained. They have many new things to be interested in. Well, the IT systems, traditional IT systems, well, they are pretty boring. What else can you hack? You have some Windows systems, some Linux systems, some mobile devices. Hacking something new is much more interesting. So they try different things, and then they find out that it's pretty easy to break, right? So the guy named Jeremy Richards, he published a presentation showing that it is possible to actually hack a drug pump he bought on eBay, which can be a drug pump for insulin or any other drug, and you can pretty much do everything with it. It was not secure at all, and in fact, it causes huge danger for the person that is using it, right? Because if you don't have validation of new firmware in this device, then it means you can modify the software and you can make it inject much more drugs than it was originally devised to do. Of course, there are other things that can be hacked. We've seen many of them. Of course, ATMs. There was a guy named Barnaby Jack. I'm not sure if anyone of you heard about him. On one of the conferences, he showed an ATM he hacked. It was virtually, literally spilling money out of it without anything. He just hacked it and he was suddenly rich. What else? Of course, the pacemaker. Then there is an interesting conspiracy theory, because the same guy, he said that he's going to hack a pacemaker at the next conference of this type. And meanwhile, there was a series named Homeland. How many of you have seen Homeland series? Okay, there are some people. There is an episode where the main character is providing serial number of a pacemaker to the terrorists, to Al-Qaeda, to kill a vice president, as I recall, right? And he wrote something like, haha, this is funny. You don't need a serial number to hack a pacemaker. And he was dead the week before the presentation. And he was found with, body full of, touchscreen was full of amphetamine, all the drugs you can think of, and the guy really wasn't a junkie. So there was a lot of suspicion that he was actually killed by some secret service, not to reveal that actually the pacemakers can be hacked. Then, of course, the physical security systems. If you can hack them, then obviously your premises don't have any security. So you can enter and take the physical cash from the bank, from any institution that have any, right? If you hack production lines, we've seen some of that, you can kill the entire batch of products that the company is producing. You can cause damage to the machines, you can cause damage to people, right? Because if there is anything that will blow up, Stuxnet was the primary example of that, but there are more cases like this. Of course, power plants, meters, grids, that's also a production infrastructure that is working, that is not secure, that wasn't really designed to be secure at the very beginning. Right now, if you ask the energy companies, a lot of them are working very hard to put up this wall built around this infrastructure because they feel that it might be attacked by any entity, beginning from the hackers that will do it for fun or for fame, and ending at the states that might want to harm your critical infrastructure. Smart cities. These projects are more and more common. So in those smart cities, there are systems that manage the street lights, the public transport, and everything like that. If you hack them, then you can cause a lot of accidents in the city. Imagine suddenly we have all the green lights at the intersection in a main point of your city. This might be really, really dangerous. Of course, you can also hack cars. I'm not sure if you are aware of that, but in April 2018, European Union will be asking all the manufacturers of cars to insert a SIM card into the car, this will be called an e-call system, which will automatically notify emergency, doctors or firefighters that the car has crashed. that implies that the car will be connected to the internet one way or another. And actually, a lot of car producers, even right now, are producing cars that are connected, even if those are not for very important reason. I'm not sure if you've seen that, but the best solution was to actually turn it off and turn it on like the old Windows systems, right? It's working still. But the things get better than that. You can see it here that there was a guy that actually hacked a plane system. He was sitting in the back. So imagine that you can actually pull off 9/11 without getting to the cockpit. And then, you know, that was funny, but of course it was dangerous. If you hack a car through the entertainment systems and you can crash somebody, well, he might survive. If you hack a plane and it crashes, then usually nobody survives. So this is pretty scary, and I don't think anyone knows that, or the authorities don't know, and enterprises don't know that it should be a primary object of what they're doing. Now, there is also another issue that is very interesting, is that IoT security can actually influence regular IT security as well. I'll show you another movie about that. I'm not sure if you are aware of that, but it's pretty interesting. Yeah, so this is the example that, in fact, using your smartwatch, which you believe is, well, secure because it's not really that connected, it can actually be used as a keylogger in this case. And in fact, there are more issues like that. And the companies that we asked are aware of that. They are afraid of investing in IoT because they're afraid about data security. They're afraid that the things that will be used in the companies might be compromised. And in fact, it's already happening, because if you think about manufacturing, about utilities again, those are the companies that are already there and that can already be hacked, as you could see. So now let's start with some key takeaways. First of all, IoT devices, they have different capabilities compared to traditional IT systems. They use different systems, they use different platforms. In many cases, they're not secure at all because they were not designed to be secure. And suddenly they are now a part of the global network and can be easily hacked. So that also implies that some of the IoT players, they have little experience in digital security because they have never done it, right? They are suddenly now in IoT space and they have never done that before. So their security systems or the development process is not secure in the first place. The IoT security requires a different approach compared to what we had in case of traditional IT systems. As you have seen in the earlier sessions, it is not possible to patch a system that is already working, that is providing critical infrastructure for the entire city or for the entire country. So you cannot patch the pacemaker on the fly, right? Because the guy is using it all the time. It must be different. The new protection techniques will be required. It's no longer the same as in IT. So the, I'd say, white side of the equation will have to learn how to protect things from scratch, from the very beginning. Because of the inexperience of IoT players, there will be a need for specialized companies that will provide support during design and testing, because those systems must be as secure as possible from the very beginning. And as I said, companies don't know how to do it. And finally, we have seen in this presentation, in the others, that bad IT security, well, you can lose your finances, you can lose intellectual property, you can lose data. In case of lack of IoT security, you can lose life. That's simple. So there is some guidance from IDC for anyone that would like to enter the market of IoT, that would like to maybe capitalize on that, and especially on the fact that IoT players don't have any experience in security. First of all, that the nature of IoT security threats is very broad. It's broader than in case of IT, which we already quite well know. The security must be primary objective from scratch. So we have to design things secure in the very beginning, not to think, well, we have a short time to market. We need to shorten that because we need to get it out in at some point. We must let it out when it's secure, especially when it's life-threatening device. New people and new skills will be necessary to develop the connected products. Good example were the cars. They will be fully connected. Right now, every manufacturer in the world is not saying our car is the best, but our car is the best connected car. And they never tell you that it's also getting a dangerous car, right? And of course, testing. Testing is a must. As I mentioned, all possible vulnerabilities, all attack vectors, they should be detected before you let the product out to the market. And that's it from my side. I hope it was a good introduction to IoT security topic. And if you have any questions, you can let me know now, and I'll be staying here all day, so we can also talk off the record. Thank you very much.